Today, I'd like to introduce you to collaborating with CIViC Assertions. So what is CIViC? CIViC is an open access knowledge base and curation system designed to support the clinical interpretation of variants in cancer. CIViC is about turning information such as this, a survival curve identifying patients in a cancer cohort harboring specific mutations associated with worse survival, a result taken from the peer-reviewed published literature. And it turns it into this, structured evidence linking to ontologies and standards while including human-readable content. It relays in words what this picture shows, but stores it in a structured, easily searchable manner. Each evidence item, like the one shown, represents one gene, one variant, one disease derived from one publication. However, variant interpretations are not based on a single publication and not necessarily a single variant. Building on what we had created, we sought to develop a new entity, which we call assertions, and develop the protocols to combine this structured information. Assertions aggregate data in a single clinical consensus. By aggregating these structured evidence items, the underlying data is carefully defined and transparent. When new data is published, this can be rapidly incorporated into the existing corpus of knowledge without reconstructing the evidence from each underlying paper. On the assertions page, you will find all the supporting evidence items, the content that I showed in the previous slides, in an evidence grid that can be quickly perused. This evidence grid is not restricted to evidence from the exact variant or disease defined in the assertion. For example, you can see that evidence for the more general term non-small cell lung carcinoma, as well as for the more specific lung adenocarcinoma, is used here. The summary of these 14 evidence items is noted at the top of the assertions page, again combining structured data with human-readable content. And the assertion can then be assigned a tier and level according to the 2017 AMP-ASCO-CAP guidelines for somatic variant interpretation. We developed a minimum set of criteria for what is required in the CIViC interface to fit into the AMP-ASCO-CAP guidelines, and this was published in November of 2019. By defining this process, we were able to submit these assertions to ClinVar. But this also enables other groups to work together to define the underlying data and collectively create a consensus statement. The ClinGen Somatic Working Group has already taken advantage of this feature, and through this collaboration and others, we continue to develop and improve guidelines for cancer variant interpretation. Our open access knowledge base makes it possible to bring together curators and collaborators from around the world, enabling curation at your pace and in your time zone. So welcome to CIViC. CIViC is supported by the National Cancer Institute's ITCR and hosted by the Washington University School of Medicine. You can visit and learn more about CIViC at civicdb.org.